The reign of the Nintendo 64 is emblematic of its era, the mid to late 90s, an era remembered for what it produced while it was preoccupied with looking ahead. Most video games at the time were unapologetic about pushing 3D graphics forward, even if it wasn't a fully realised concept yet. Meanwhile, as a society, we were worried sick about what Y2K might do to our computers, and simultaneously obsessed with the upcoming millennium, to the extent that roughly half of all media produced in 1999 had a 2000 at the end of the title. They even gave the guy that made The X-Files some other show based on how wild it was that the millennium was approaching. With the notable exception of one child screaming about the Nintendo 64 he'd received as a Christmas gift, we were too focused on the future to enjoy the present. The irony here is that many of the things society was obsessing over later became a blip on the radar. A lot of you probably had to look up Y2K, and as of this writing, none of the 36 prominent streaming services currently feature Chris Carter's Millennium. 67 episodes across 3 seasons. Yet we all know GoldenEye, Mario 64 and Knife Edge Nose Gunner. Okay, maybe not Knife Edge Nose Gunner. The Nintendo 64 is many things to many people, possibly more so than most systems. To some, it was the gateway to a new, fully realised world of possibilities, in-depth adventures and precision controls, and to others, it's overrated nostalgia, home to lifeless worlds the player often struggled to navigate thanks to that wonky controller and frequent camera issues. As always, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. With 296 games released in North America, its library is somewhat scarce compared to other similarly beloved consoles, yet despite this, a half-dozen titles routinely mentioned among the finest in gaming are found in its catalogue. Rightfully, these and a handful of others have been discussed throughout the years as variations of the best 25 Nintendo 64 games of all time lists permeate the internet. We here at Hard Drive have never seen a party we didn't want to invite ourselves to, but we also wanted to shine a light on the games that haven't been endlessly ranked and re-ranked over the subsequent 25 years. We wanted to pay homage to the stone cold classics of the era and the outliers, the dubious games given as well-intentioned gifts by aunts and step-parents. These ghastly licensed titles and inexplicable originals often shaped our collective gaming experiences as much as anything else. And even if we say some pretty mean things, we just fucking love video games, man. It beats talking about anything else, frankly. Before we begin the list proper, a quick aside, it's important to establish that this here is a video transcription of a monolithic listicle published on Hard Drive and was the collaborative effort of countless Hard Drive writers and contributors spearheaded by head writer and co-founder Mark Roebuck. I, your host, Fudj, did not write this list, with the exception of number 33, Pokemon Snap. Get hyped for that one. I am only reading out what other writers have said about the game, so if you find yourself subject to a blood-boiling fit of blinding rage at the placement of Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest, please consider directing all complaints to our CEO and list curator at CobraTate on Twitter. When I was approached about making this video with a 3-week deadline, I said to our CEO, "Are you yes crazy? Sir, I would love to get to work on that right away. Die. Give me harder battles, please." As you can imagine, making a video on such a huge list in such a short time has hampered my ability to read out every entry for every game on this list, especially as I'm not sure my PC would actually be capable of rendering a video that would be that long. As such, today I will be presenting, editing and reading out the entries for our top 10 N64 games, our bottom 5 N64 games, and a whole bunch of other ones I felt were particularly entertaining or interesting throughout in between. Be warned, we're going to skip through quite a lot immediately after the bottom 5 because, spoiler alert, a lot of the bad games on N64 are sports games, fighting games or racing games, and they sucked because of wonky controls or bad camera. I promise you, talking about why YLA Country Club True Golf Classics is bad is not that interesting, and I don't need to waste my vocal cords or index fingers or indeed your earholes on it. If you want to consume the whole list in full detail, check out the original listicle with all its complete written entries via the link I'm showing on screen that will also be available in the description. And at last, here you go. All 296 North American Nintendo 64 games ranked and reviewed, along with probably way too many references to our dads, video stores and 9/11. We hope you enjoy watching or reading it. It's the biggest thing we've ever done, and it probably still won't impress our dads. Let's begin with what the Hard Drive writers ranked as the worst Nintendo 64 game of all time, 296, It's Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. High-ranking hard drive archdemon and guy from the Earthbound picture Mark Roebuck writes, "I played this game, I beat this game, and I have no idea what happens in this game. A devastatingly bad brawler that's as devoid of redeeming qualities as Bruce Wayne is parents, Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker suffers from lightning-quick animations that make it seem like Batman is moving faster than the camera can keep up with, which is frustrating, but also kind of hilarious. Batman's moveset mostly consists of kicking and punching, and several strikes can be strung together to form combos in the same way that eating a bowl of barbecue sauce at 6:30 PM could loosely be considered eating supper. The game consists of 5 levels, and the score consists of 5 notes. The cinematics in between levels literally go by too fast to keep up with, which is probably a good thing, as I'm assuming this game's story is as insulting as every other aspect of it. One of my favourite examples is that level 2, Wayne Enterprises building, is the exact same as level 1, the Gotham Air and Space Museum, except the hallways have potted plants in them now. On the bright side, it's all over in about an hour. It's fucked up that this is the only Batman game they made for the Nintendo 64, because it really sucks. Number 295. Carmageddon 64. William Quant writes, "Somewhere, someone is going through an actual car crash, doomed to have to go through physical therapy for the next 2 years as a result of their injuries to have some semblance of their full range of motion back, on top of an unholy amount of medical debt. And that person would still be having more fun than me playing this abomination of a racing game." I was hoping that this game's infamy was some kind of hyperbole, that perhaps people were harsher on it in its time and that modern days may have actually vindicated it like some of these other old games we played, but no. This one is just as dreadful as everyone says it is. Besides creeping to the frame rate of a slideshow on basically every turn, nothing works the way it's supposed to and it all just feels like arse. The worst part is, there's no point to any of it. The game presents itself as some kind of apocalyptic race where you must race or die, as the opening narration spells out, but your only objective is to complete the race. No other racer is competing against you, and yet you're prompted to kill all other drivers you see. Also, there's zombies everywhere as some sort of alternate win condition that is impossible to complete, and if I don't want to destroy or maim anything in your apocalyptic demolition derby race, then what's the point of it all? Number 294, no surprise here, it's Superman: The New Superman Adventures. Look, you don't need me to tell you that this game sucks. Right, Seth Finkelstein. We all know it sucks. It's not even the developer's fault that it sucks. The licensing team at Warner Brothers hated the devs and tried to make them turn this into a SimCity clone. The controls suck, the gameplay sucks, the graphics suck. You don't really do Superman things, you just do minigames all day with extremely strict time limits. Did you know you get to fight Darkseid in this game? He's in a hallway. They're all in hallways in this game. You know what? That's enough. I'm going to spend the rest of this review begging someone, anyone, to make a Superman game. I don't want to hear anything about how he's too powerful and no one can hurt him. Figure it out. Have him fight Titano, the giant robot ape. And hey, while we're at it, let's make another Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. You can make car boxing gloves in that. Man, that game was actually fun. Number 293. Biofreaks. Per writer Ryan Fleischman, Biofreaks is a travesty. This fighting game is set in Neo-America, where escalating tech overlords have caused the nation to break down in the techno-industrial civil war. Great naming convention, really nailed it. Every character is a variant of unholy cyborg abomination named something like Kill Fucker because of how much they like killing and fucking. Biofreaks would be a The Room so bad it's good type game if the name of the flagship character on the cover wasn't a racial slur used as a play on words. He has an actual zipper on his head, so funny. This checks out since the game as a whole feels targeted towards your dipshit cousin that still says the F slur. In terms of actual gameplay, Biofreaks characters control like a Walmart mobility scooter. The game is comically unbalanced, mainly due to a shield mechanic that makes characters invulnerable by removing all the textures on their already ugly polygons. The game also blatantly cheats by reading your inputs so the computer enemies can easily beat all your attacks, which is why you can find multiple videos of content creators hopelessly trying to beat the BS final boss of arcade mode. The next time you want to complain about modern fighting games, pop in Biofreaks, and thank God you're getting another Street Fighter sequel instead of this roadkill. Number 292, Monster Truck Madness 64. Luca Fisher tells us Monster Truck Madness 64, Rockstar's third release long before they created Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, opens with a caffeine-addled announcer screaming, "Are you ready?" followed by a dick-crushing industrial metal track, so it's clearly among the best games ever conceived. But alas, no amount of personality and testosterone can compensate for messy gameplay. Monster Truck Madness is both slippery and heavy, like trying to deadlift a sea lion, or in this case, like trying to push a monster truck with tyres made of butter across a track made of soap. One must imagine their opponents laughing as their truck keels over into the mud on its side, a metaphor for life's inevitable cruelty. There is also a distinct lack of car crushing, a crushing disappointment in its own right. Battering fences and tombstones is fun, but it doesn't compare to the raw, primal thrill of man-hitular vehicle slaughter that monster trucks bring to mind. And unlike the game's trucks and corny announcer, the environments are almost entirely devoid of personality and largely identical to one another. Even the stage called Death Trap was pretty non-lethal. I was expecting both death and a host of booby traps, or perhaps wild bears for flavour, but found neither. Like Sisyphus making sweet love to the boulder that binds him in eternal punishment, I mindlessly chased an ever-returning ball or puck in the identical soccer and hockey minigames. The MC's commentary is what helped me stay strong. He was there for me in each of these miserable game modes, even as I slipped all over the place and ate dirt. My fondest memory of this game will be the exact moment I hurtled into an enemy vehicle in Summit Rumble, prompting the MC, my only friend in this wasteland, to shout, "Hell hath no fury like a monster truck scorned." Alright, that's the bottom 5 done. Let's make like my small intestine after a large katsu curry from my local chain that serves the rice just a bit too dry and get rid of some of this crap. 291, Rugrats in Paris, the movie. 290, Armorines, Project Swarm. 289, NBA in the Zone, 98. 288, South Park Rally. 287, Deadly Arts. 286, ECW Hardcore Revolution. 285, Big Mountain 2000. 284, Paperboy. 283, NFL Quarterback Club 2000. 282, Virtual Pool 64. 281, YLA Country Club True Golf Classics. 280, War Gods. 279, GT64 Championship Edition. 278, Rat Attack. 277, Battlezone Rise of the Black Dogs. 276, NBA in the Zone 99. 275, WCW Mayhem. 274, Transformers Beast Wars Transmetals. 273, Elmo's Number Journey. 272, Elmo's Letter Adventure. 271, Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. And number 270, Top Gear Rally 2. Writer Naomi Kraus describes Top Gear Rally 2 as the Dark Souls 2 of Top Gear Rally games, in that it's a lot of okay content surrounded by dog shit game design and typing that made her want to die. Supposedly there's a very realistic damage system, meaning that taking a slight turn will pop your tyres instantly. You can slowly repair yourself by opening the main menu and waiting for your invisible pit crew to do their thing. Clearly an inspired game mechanic. Eat shit, Lakitu. Admittedly, the game has a handful of positives. There are some surprisingly detailed customization options that can slightly alleviate the breakdown pains, but you're still going to be overheating your engine and popping your tyres through to the end. The physics and weather system are also pretty well developed for a console game in the 90s, but that being said, even for its time, this game is ugly and, quote, clunky as heck. There are at least 5 rally car games on the console, and this is far and away the worst any of our writers claims to have played. If you're a sick fuck who plays D&D with heavy encumbrance rules and are desperate for a mediocre rally car racer, you might get something out of this. If not, steer clear. Wow, Naomi muses in her review. That's an actual stupid review tagline. IGN, please hire me. I am so poor. Number 269, The Powerpuff Girls Chemical Extradition. Number 268, Penny Racers. Number 267, South Park Chef's Love Shack. Number 266, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Number 265, John Romero's Daikatana. Number 264, NFL Quarterback Club 2001. Number 263, Twisted Edge Extreme Snowboarding. Number 262, Rugrats Scavenger Hunt. Number 261, Star Wars Episode 1 Battle for Naboo. Number 260, Turok Rage Wars. Number 259, Chopper Attack. Number 258, NBA in the Zone 2000. Number 257, Body Harvest, which Walker McDonald cites as one of his earliest encounters with the N64, and an ill-fated one at that. We all have that one game that was either inherited, bought out of a Walmart bargain bin, or by any other means just popped into existence for us, he writes. A hazy memory with only a handful of aesthetic details to recall it by. Some shit you're not even fully confident you didn't just make up. For me, that was Body Harvest. Whilst it's reassuring that it wasn't a memory-hold fever dream after all, it isn't really any less bizarre in reality. Relative to the hardware, the game takes some pretty ambitious swings, both narratively and mechanically, but they seem to have taken precedence over the basics. There's this grandiose sci-fi story that aims for Starship Troopers but lands firmly at bad taste. There's at least a dozen individual vehicles, a classic Doom Guy rip-off protagonist, and levels set in multiple countries across several decades. But you can't jump, talk to half the NPCs, or aim independent of the camera. You could spit farther than the draw distance. Environments look like they were designed by a toddler with a bucket of loose Lincoln logs. Anything you could kill or interact with is few and far between. It's the kind of thing dreamed up by sitcom writers trying to conceive of a genetically unsavoury video game for little Johnny and Susie to pine for. Skip it. Play fucking Tiddlywinks or something instead. Tiddlywinks, you guys are American, right? Number 256, Clay Fighter 63 1/3. That's what it says in the document. I assume that's what it's actually called. I'm not going to do the research. Clay Fighter 63 1/3. Number 255, Mia Hamm Soccer 64. Number 254, Indie Racing 2000. Number 253, Gex 64, Enter the Gecko, which the entry is telling me is just a really bad port of the PS1 version, so I assume that's why it's this low. Number 252, Golden Nugget 64. Number 251, Charlie Blast's Territory. Fucking Charlie Blast. Number 250, Milo's Astro Lanes. Number 249, oh yeah baby, it's Knife Edge Nose Gunner. On the topic of Knife Edge Nose Gunner, Naomi Kraus writes, you know, when I saw this game, I thought it'd be a standard military on-rails shooter, and then I booted it up and your helicopter gets launched out of a fucking spaceship onto Mars, and I was beyond hyped for the hidden Star Fox 64-ish gem. Then I saw the brown. So much brown. If anyone reading this has access to time travel, can you please go back to the 90s and let Chemco know that Mars is red? Oh, and also maybe stop 9/11 if you have time, I guess. Granted, the level design and colour palette does gradually improve. Eventually you'll find yourself squaring off against robot sphinxes and googly-eyed squid UFOs, which are rad as hell, but goddamn, what a disappointing intro. If I rented this from Blockbuster, I'd ask for my money back. The gameplay itself is a mess. Enemies will constantly fly way too close to the camera from off screen. Dodging and shooting both feel weird and clunky, and the level design gave me a newfound respect for Star Fox. Like, you'd think an on-rails shooter would fix up the fucking rails a little. Your camera bounces back and forth so randomly and lazily that you'd think it was part of someone's first Blender camera tracking tutorial. If you're looking for a Nose game to play this spring, I highly recommend Nose, the Great Kiana, over this dud. They have nothing at all in common beyond the names, and that's probably for the best. Number 248, Fox Sports College Hoops 99. Number 247, Cruisin' USA. Number 246, Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut. And number 245, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. Moustache-twirling list mastermind who could not possibly have known that I was going to be asked to make a video on this gigantic listicle, but whom I'm going to project all of my many bubbling negative emotions onto anyway, Mark Roebuck says. I can show my math on this one. This game is commonly remembered, not unfairly, as one that starts with a rip-roaring Hoth level straight out of Empire Strikes Back, and then sends the player into a litany of boring third-person missions playing a character most of us didn't know in unfamiliar locations. That character was Dash Rendar. Dash Rendar, love that name, Dash Rendar. What many players didn't realise, and again, I can't blame them, was at the end of the game there's actually a very fun space level where you take on Star Destroyers and destroy a giant Empire base a la Return of the Jedi. It's an incredible ending, so it was like a shit sandwich on primo bread. My friend had this game, and since he'd beaten it, you could select levels to specifically replay. I used to play those two over and over, so 2 out of the 10 levels are quite fun. 1 in 5. Bottom 20th percentile. Easy one. Damn, there's a lot of lists still to go. There sure is, Mark. There sure is. Number 244, Brunswick Circuit Pro Bowling. Number 243, NBA Jam 99. Number 242, Blues Brothers 2000. Number 241, Killer Instinct Gold. Number 240, Madden Football 64. Number 239, Hercules The Legendary Journeys. Number 238, Duke Nukem 64. Number 237, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Apparently another really bad port. Number 236, Midway's Greatest Arcade Hits, Volume 1. Number 235, NHL Blades of Steel 99. Number 234, Castlevania. Number 233, Xena Warrior Princess The Talisman of Fate. Number 232, Jeremy McGrath Supercross 2000. Number 231, South Park. Number 230, Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. This entry, written by Thomas Wilde, reads, Legacy of Darkness started in a weird place. It's effectively a director's cut of the N64's Castlevania. Many of the stages in Legacy are remixed editions of Castlevania 64's, and the playable cast from Castlevania 64 returns for Legacy as unlockable characters with their stories intact. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Legacy makes Castlevania 64 obsolete, but I'd be annoyed if I bought them both at full launch price. Legacy also shares its predecessor's problem with making a bad first impression, as it opens with a couple of the most boring levels in the game. You've got to suffer through some dull platforming and key hunts before Legacy really hits the road. Beyond that, it's aged poorly, but I can respect what it tried to do. Castlevania with survival horror mechanics sounds like a surefire combination, and Legacy doesn't quite get across the finish line, but there are a couple of levels that are worth the price of admission. If you can handle the janky 3D platforming and camera controls, there's some fun to be had here. Thomas was a far more professional writer than most of the rest of us hard drive cretins, so for balance I'm going to put a clip of Sonic chasing Kanye off stage here. Number 229, NASCAR 99. Number 228, Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Number 227, Buck Bumble. This entry coming from Kevin Podas, or Podas? Sorry, Kevin. This coming from Kevin Podcast. I hardly ever sell my games. Even when I was a kid, I'm a hoarder like that. But I'm glad. There's a lot of games I could have sold that are incredibly hard to find now. However, Buck Bumble is one of the very few games that I've ever let go of in my entire life. I got it as a Christmas present one year and then later sold it at the family garage sale. Was I too harsh on it? Did it just go over my head at the time? Hard Drive has given me the excuse to give this game a second chance. So let's just get this out of the way. The theme song is an absolute banger. It's a bop. It slaps, we all know it, but otherwise there is just something so profoundly depressing about this game's environment. Well, it's rural England first of all, but you fly around a bunch of trash, shooting at other bugs after a poison spill affects the insect population outside of an abandoned chemical plant, and this is probably the worst example of N64 fog I've ever seen. The draw distance feels limited to 5 feet in front of your face, although you aren't missing out on much, at least. Can't say I regret the 25 bucks I made from selling this game in 3rd grade. You might regret stopping by rural England again anytime soon though, Kevin. I'll see you outside Greg's. Number 226, bottom of the 9th. Number 225, Nuclear Strike 64. Number 224, NFL Quarterback Club 98. Number 223, Robotron 64. Number 222, PGA European Tour. Number 221, Major League Baseball featuring Ken Griffey Jr. Wow, Ken Griffey Jr. Number 220, Shadowgate 64, Trials of the Four Towers. Number 219, NHL Breakaway 98. Number 218, WCW Backstage Assault. Number 217, San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing. Number 216, Tigger's Honey Hunt. Number 215, Mike Piazza's Strike Zone. Number 214, Duck Dodgers, starring Daffy Duck. Wow, Daffy Duck. Number 213, Supercross 2000. Number 212, Dark Rift. Number 211, NBA Jam 2000. Number 210, Aiden Chronicles, The First Mage. Number 209, FIFA Soccer 64. Number 208, Mace, The Dark Age. Number 207, WCW Nitro. Number 206, Madden NFL 99. Number 205, Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. Number 204, All-Star Tennis 99. Number 203, Scars. Number 202, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest. Number 201, Dual Heroes. Number 200, V-Rally Edition 99. Number 199, Asteroids Hyper 64. Number 198, Kobe Bryant in NBA Courtside. Number 197, Turok 3, Shadow of Oblivion. Number 196, Lego Racers. Number 195, Quake. Walker McDonald is back to explain that if you've ever had the inexplicable craving for a flatter, clunkier, aesthetically drained Doom sequel, Quake on the N64 will cure what ails you. As is the common case with most PC games ported to consoles in the 90s, anything charming or satisfying to be found in the original was lost in translation. Simply put, it plays like a DOS game and looks like a Minecraft texture pack. There certainly has to be good cause for the legacy surrounding the game's original release. There's even still vague remnants of it here, but as this iteration stands, it screams generic runoff. This is something that would make Tony Soprano hang his head in shame after catching AJ playing it. As a Brit who never had access to The Sopranos, I've got to say, fucking hell AJ, sort it out. However, I gotta throw a bone to the soundtrack. For the genre and era, it absolutely knocks. That's what he's written here, knocks. It can be dulcet, ambient and spooky, or catchy, groovy and just downright filthy. Stuttered melodies, rolling hi-hats and percussion are used in a fashion practically resembling contemporary trap production. Never before has the score for an N64 title had more sonically in common with 3-6 Mafia. Well, except for GoldenEye maybe. Anyways, I'm sure this has to cost like a single red penny on Steam these days. Play it as intended, hunched over a monitor, trying to invent speedrunning. Number 194, NASCAR 2000. Number 193, Lode Runner 3D. Number 192, Off-Road Challenge. Number 191, Top Gear Hyperbike. Number 190, All-Star Baseball 99. Number 189, Scooby-Doo Classic Creep Capers. Number 188, NBA Live 99. Number 187, Wet Tricks. Number 186, Extreme G. Number 185, Rampage World Tour. Number 184, Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA. Number 183, Bomberman 64. Seth Finkelstein laments, they all gotta make the jump to 3D sometime, huh? An evil force has come to planet Bomber and they're gonna blow up the planet and now Bomberman has to bomb them before they bomb you or something like that. It's the first Bomberman game with a really robust single player mode, and while I see what they were going for, it's not that great to play now. The camera isn't quite overhead and it's not quite isometric. It's this weird middle ground that never quite makes you feel like you're seeing everything you need to. You can't jump, but you can walk across your bombs and use them to activate switches, but that's impossible to do unless you find the remote bomb power-up, which should just be the default. The multiplayer is still fun, but you can find better versions of the same basic game elsewhere. This game is not a bomb, but it's not the bomb. Can you believe they paid me to write that? Oh, Seth. Can you believe I'm making this video? Number 182, Cruisin' World. Number 181, Battle Tanks. Number 180, Tom and Jerry in Fists of Fury. Number 179, International Track and Field 2000. Number 178, Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. Number 177, NHL Breakaway 99. Number 176, Mickey's Speedway USA. Number 175, NBA Live 2000. Number 174, Tetrasphere. Number 173, Rally Challenge 2000. Number 172, Knockout Kings 2000. Number 171, Aero Fighters Assault. Number 170, NBA Courtside 2. Number 169, WWF WrestleMania 2000. And number 168, Tonic Trouble. Ryan Fleischman says Tonic Trouble feels like a fake video game that people play in the background of an episode of Malcolm in the Middle. It's a full product, but it feels less like someone's artistic ambition and more like the approximation of a video game in your lucid dreams. That's because Tonic Trouble was created by Ubisoft and Michael, or Michel, sorry they're French, I don't get them, Ansel, as a tech trial of sorts before they developed the video game anyone actually gave a shit about, Rayman 2, The Great Escape. This means that Tonic Trouble doesn't just feel like a worse Rayman, it is a worse Rayman. The main character, Ed, is a poor replacement for Rayman. He has all the wacky antics of Rayman, but none of the charisma, which is another way of saying Ed is a fucking loser. The entire game is extremely zany, but without any substance to back it up. Visuals are pretty underwhelming, and the game's wall textures are reminiscent of a modern-day Pokemon game. Gameplay, however, can be decently satisfying. Ed feels good to control and gets a good enough swath of abilities, but he's held back by rough camera controls. I wouldn't play this game unless you already have a nostalgic connection. Number 167, Automobile Lamborghini. Number 166, Razor Freestyle Scooter. Number 165, Top Gear Rally. Number 164, StarCraft 64. Number 163, Wheel of Fortune. Number 162, Starshot Space Circus Fever. Number 161, All-Star Baseball 2000. Number 160, Command & Conquer. Number 159, Monaco Grand Prix. Number 158, Rampage 2 Universal Tour. Number 157, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Number 156, Iggy's Wrecking Balls. Number 155, Madden NFL Football 2000. Number 154, Earthworm Jim 3D. Number 153, Forsaken 64. Number 152, WWF Warzone. Number 151, NFL Quarterback Club 99. Number 150, Turok Dinosaur Hunter. John Danek's entry on Turok Dinosaur Hunter tells us it's easy to take for granted the standardization of controls of first-person shooters until you play a game like Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I can't stress enough how bizarre this game feels. To move forward, you press C up. Strafing is C left and C right. The left stick aims, the R button jumps. If none of this makes sense to you, I promise you, it didn't make much more sense in 1997. There is a fun, even groundbreaking game in here somewhere. The graphics could be great if the fog didn't obscure all visuals farther than 10 feet away. Turok Dinosaur Hunter looks like it takes place in 1940s smog-addled Pittsburgh. Maybe someday the Steel City will take care of their rampant raptor problem too. Number 149, Triple Play 2000. Number 148, San Francisco Rush 2049. Number 147, Olympic Hockey 98. Number 146, Donald Duck Going Quackers. Probing Chandler Dean's entry on this game tells us adequate, satisfactory, fine. These aren't just 3 words my parents have used to describe my writing, they also encapsulate how it feels to play Disney's Donald Duck Going Quackers. By the way, where I'm from, it was called Quack Attack. That's a fun little tidbit, I thought that'd be fun. I guess it's not that fun actually. This is an okay platformer of an okay length based on an okay character. It's a Crash Bandicoot clone through and through. 3D graphics with a 2D platforming sensibility. As you might expect from a game of this genre and era, most of its challenge can be attributed to depth perception. Whoops, that hole is bigger than it looks. Better jump slightly later next time. Whoops, that enemy is closer than it looks. Better jump slightly earlier next time. Don't get me wrong, if I'm a kid at Target in 2001 picking a game using the cereal box test, demanding that my parents select the box featuring the cartoon I like the most, I could do a whole lot worse than this game. As licensed games go, it's probably at the exact midpoint between GoldenEye and Superman, but in some ways, being decent comes at the expense of being interesting. I wanted Wild Worlds, Maniac minigames, a screwy cameo from Scrooge McDuck. In short, I wanted this game to go more quackers. Personally, I'd be careful, Chandler. We don't want things getting too quackers now. That'd be highly irresponsible. Woo! And just like that, we are at the halfway point of the list. Let's chill out for a moment. How you holding up? Me? Oh, you know, I hope you've enjoyed all my little japes about how deeply distressed I was to be making this video, but I guess the jig is up. Suppose it's time to admit that I do actually like working here. Maybe you're not familiar with our work, but these little remarks about my supposedly evil higher-ups are actually what us industry insiders call a bit. And in the pursuit of creating such bits, I am allowed almost unparalleled creative freedom in what I do. Don't believe me? Watch. I'm gonna start eating crackers right here in the middle of the video. These are some cream crackers I got from Sainsbury's for like 90p. I know that's a card, ignore that. Fucking people are so loud on this road. I know most of you probably don't know what Sainsbury's is, but I don't give a fuck, I'm not explaining. They're very Moorish. Would Americans know what I meant if I called them Moorish? Like, you just kind of leave them laying around. And even when you're not really hungry, you just want more, you know? You snack on them. It's unhealthy, snacking. You're taking a lot more calories than you realise, you know? But, these ones are getting a bit stale, and I've got to get rid of them soon. Yeah. If you want more highbrow, cracker-eating content straight in your sub box, then give us a little subscribe or whatever, you know, click the bell and stuff. I'm the video guy. I'm very proud of what we've been doing recently, and we're trying to give YouTube more of a shot lately. So we got a lot more cool stuff like whatever the fuck this is coming up soon. Check us out. Also, check out our site for stuff like top 5 foods to cook on your Steam Deck. We're a satire site. This is just what we're like, okay? Okay. I'm done with the crackers now. Sorry if you wanted to just get on with the list or hate the sound of people eating, but you know, there's timestamps in the video and everything, so I don't know. Deal with it, but subscribe to Hard Drive, please. Number 145, Mission Impossible. Number 144, Top Gear Overdrive. Number 143, 007, The World Is Not Enough. Oh, I got a bit sexy with it there, The World Is Not Enough. Number 142, In Fisherman Bass 64. Number 141, Virtual Chess 64. Number 140, Revolt. Number 139, Super Bowling. Number 138, Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. Number 137, fuck me. Number 137, Monopoly. Number 136, Wipeout 64. Number 135, Gauntlet Legends. Number 134, Rayman 2, The Great Escape. I know, I disagree as well, but the writer says that the jet ski level really sucked and made them place it lower, so yeah, we'll have to, I'm coping so hard right now. Number 133, International Superstar Soccer 64. Number 132, Hydro Thunder. Number 131, Duke Nukem 0 Hour. Number 130, Pokemon Stadium. Number 129, Pilot Wings 64. And number 128, Buster Move 99. Mark Roebuck writes, a solid Buster Move experience that isn't quite as good as the other entry on the system, Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition. It's still really good, just a bit less fun around the edges. The controls are a little sluggish too, like a wet sponge, making it harder for me to line up shots with precision on this cart. But again, if for some reason you've taken a vow or blood oath to never play Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition, none of our business really, then yeah, Buster Move 99 is tight. It's actually a really good thing it has the year in the title, otherwise future generations might be very confused by the level with a photo of the World Trade Center as its background. Number 127, Vigilante 8. Number 126, Polaris Snowcross. Number 125, Fighter's Destiny. Number 124, Dr. Mario 64. Number 123, Cruisin' Exotica. Number 122, Fighting Force 64. Number 121, Roadsters. Number 120, Jet Force Gemini. Number 119, Hybrid Heaven. Another fascinating recounting from my good friend and England hater Kevin Podas here. He says, I went into this game completely blind, and boy was I in for a ride. Hybrid Heaven was developed in tandem over at Konami with the PlayStation's Metal Gear Solid. Allegedly, it was supposed to be a Metal Gear game from the beginning, but they later changed course to avoid confusion. From the get-go, you can already see some of that DNA still here. Evil clones, political mumbo-jumbo, and highly cinematic cutscenes are instantly familiar in tone, but the gameplay itself is something truly unique. It's an action game, at least partially, featuring platforming, shooting, climbing, and more. However, imagine my whiplash when I entered my first battle. Holy shit, this is also a turn-based RPG wrestling game? Now that's a hybrid if I've ever seen one, and you know what? Props to them. Regardless of how I may feel about this game overall, that is an extremely ballsy move. The N64 was basically a dead zone for RPGs anyway, so if you want to sneak one in my action game, I won't mind. The gameplay otherwise can be pretty hit or miss. Controlling your character can be a bit stiff, the camera seems to have a mind of its own at times, and don't even get me started on the manual aiming. It's also easy to get lost. I would commonly find myself retreading the same areas thanks to my useless minimap, but hey, if I can suplex a giant alien bug thing every once in a while, it's all groovy. Number 118, Goemon's Great Adventure. Number 117, Buster Move 2 Arcade Edition. Number 116, Tarzan. Number 115, Banjo-Tooie. Number 114, WWF Attitude. Number 113, Nightmare Creatures. Per Ryan Fleischman, Nightmare Creatures is the Bloodborne of the N64. No, seriously, it's an extremely difficult gothic horror action game where you fight with werewolves and other gruesome creatures with a melee weapon and a gun. The game even forces you to fight with an adrenaline meter that damages you if you don't keep killing monsters, which is reminiscent of the aggressive heal-on-hit playstyle Bloodborne encourages. I would be genuinely surprised if FromSoft didn't boot up Nightmare Creatures at some point of their pre-production process. This is all to say that Nightmare Creatures is pretty fucking awesome. It's dark, grody and mysterious and just the way you like. This rated R aesthetic is especially standout on the Nintendo 64, a console more known for Mario's little baby world than heavy metal violence. Then why isn't this game ranked higher, you may ask? The controls are absolute dog shit. Your character uses tank controls in an action game and it does not work. When a monster attacks you, you need to choose between slowly rotating your character to limp out of the way or using the jump dodge that shoots you out of the stratosphere. The enemies compound this problem by having minimal recovery on their moves, which means you are one rogue AI's decision away from being comboed to death. This means the game's infamous difficulty comes less from game design and more from your main character's two left feet. Nightmare Creatures is a movement control mod away from being a diamond in the rough, but as is, I would recommend you watch your friend play while you hog all the snacks. Number 112, Space Invaders. Number 111, Cyber Tiger. Number 110, WCW vs NWO World Tour. Number 109, A Bug's Life. Number 108, Ready to Rumble Boxing. Number 107, Spider-Man. Number 106, Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. Number 105, Quest 64. Number 104, Magical Tetris Challenge. Number 103, Yoshi's Story. Number 102, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Again, kind of weak port. Number 101, Army Men, Sarge's Heroes. And number 100, Jeopardy! Number 99, International Superstar Soccer 98. Number 98, Winback Covert Operations. And number 97, Excitebike 64. To quote Seth Finkelstein, okay, if you go over someone's house and they ask you if you want to play this game, do not trust them. This game is hard and they are going to kick your ass. It's like someone at Nintendo saw how much people like Mario Kart 64 and said we need to put the children in their place. This update of the classic NES title amps up the 90s tood and presents some X Games style motocross action, but this is not an easy to learn, hard to master game. You have to learn how to brake and slide if you want to get around any of these turns. If you bump into any other riders on the track, you're going flying. I really like that there are some other track designs than just dirt arenas, including a full cross-country desert mode, and the track editor is impressive for the time. This is essentially Nintendo's Gran Turismo, but instead of immaculately detailed cars, you're playing as jumping Jim Rivers. Number 96, Star Soldier Vanishing Earth. Number 95, Road Rash 64. Number 94, Hexen. Number 93, Extreme G2. Number 92, Glover. This handy retrospective being given to us by Joe Tillelli. In the peak era of mascot platformers, it's hard to stand out among the big players like Mario or Banjo and or Kazooie. Glover's unique take comes in the form of its main character. Being a personified glove gave the devs here some creative flexibility when it comes to Glover's animation and moveset. You run around like a man, but your ground pound is slamming your fist down. Crawling and prone works by Glover laying on his palm and inching himself forward, then you have the ball control. my personal favourite part. Your main goal is to bring a bouncing Pixar ball from the beginning of the stage to the end while collecting whatever you can along the way. You can push it from behind, toss it up onto high ledges and dribble it about as well as I can dribble a basketball in real life. And there lies the problem. You never really feel in control of the ball. Stages are small, yet they are a slog to get through as the ball constantly escapes your grasp. In a way, the whole game is an escort mission where your NPC companion refuses to do simple tasks on its own, like go up a slightly inclined slope. Still, there is a solid idea here. I would love to see a reboot or a fan's spiritual successor take a swing at this core concept to make the game play faster and make you really feel like a hand holding some balls. Thanks for that, Joe. Appreciate you. Number 91, Nagano Winter Olympics 98. Number 90, Vigilante 8, Second Offense. Number 89, FIFA 99. Number 88, F1 Pole Position 64. Number 87, Snowboard Kids. Number 86, All-Star Baseball 2001. Number 85, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Number 84, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey. Number 83, Chameleon Twist. Number 82, International Superstar Soccer 2000. Number 81, Madden NFL Football 2001. Number 80, California Speed. Number 79, Aero Gauge. And number 78, Conker's Bad Fur Day. This entry comes to us from Seth Finkelstein. Okay, just hear me out before you head to the comments to complain about this game's placement. Have you played Conker's Bad Fur Day recently? Like, picked up a controller and actually played it? I don't begrudge anyone for having good memories of this M-rated rare platformer. The concept of a cute animal mascot platformer that's full of cursing, drinking and gratuitous violence is still novel, but the actual gameplay just isn't up to par with a Banjo-Kazooie or a Mario 64. It's sort of got the opposite problem with Donkey Kong 64, where there's not enough to do or collect. Most of the gameplay is walking around, occasionally hover jumping and standing on context-sensitive B buttons to watch something cool happen that you don't control. There's some mini games here and there to shake things up, and you eventually get to shoot things, but the majority of the game kind of feels like a point-and-click adventure game where a fucking bee won't stop knocking you off a ladder. Go ahead and watch a let's play of this game instead and enjoy that early 2000s Newgrounds aesthetic without all the hassle. Number 77, WCW/NWO Revenge. Number 76, Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue. Number 75, NFL Blitz. Number 74, Quake 2. Number 73, Army Men Air Combat. And number 72, Flying Dragon. On the subject of Flying Dragon, Michael Katz writes, a rare, not rare, N64 fighting game, Flying Dragon goes a step further by adding RPG progression. It lets players use the N64 memory attachment to save and transfer fighters. So the developers must have been imagining kids meeting up to battle and trade gear like a sweatier Pokemon game. Sadly, each of its lukewarm parts combine to form a mediocre whole. The baseline system is just a weaker Street Fighter, and the RPG progression is murky. There aren't any visible damage values or enemy descriptions, so you can't tell what the RPG stats are actually doing. Worse, there's no proper campaign. It's all grindy fights against the CPU. It includes an extra mode that gives the chibi fighters realistic dimensions, transforming its bootleg Street Fighter into a bootleg Virtua Fighter. The mode changes everyone's playstyle and must have taken lots of effort, but it doesn't incorporate the RPG elements that make the game interesting, so they shouldn't have bothered. It also features an in-game shopkeeper that gets mad and raises prices if you don't shop in between every fight. That's funny, unless you're actually trying to play the game. Number 71, Harvest Moon 64. Number 70, Stunt Racer 64. Number 69, NFL Blitz Special Edition. Number 68, Mario Party. Number 67, Worms Armageddon. Number 66, Chameleon Twist 2. Number 65, World Driver Championship. Number 64, Namco Museum 64. Number 63, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey 98. Number 62, Fighter Destiny 2. Number 61, Army Men 2 Sarge's Heroes 2. Number 60, World Cup 98. Number 59, MRC Multi-Racing Championship. Number 58, Battle Tanks Global Assault. This from William Quant. Oh, this is awesome. Or at least this version is, apparently the PlayStation version is garbage, but this is dope. Maybe my bias is showing because I love the Dynasty Warriors games more than anyone ever should, and this game is basically Dynasty Warriors, but you're a tank. The story doesn't make a bit of goddamn sense, but I don't care. I'm a tank, blitzing my way across the whole USA and mowing down every single thing in my path with power-ups and battle upgrades, all in the distant apocalyptic future of 2006. In my brief chaotic playthrough, I don't think I found much besides level barriers that wasn't completely destructible. The different cities technically had variants, but does any of that matter when the whole city gets leveled by tank treads anyway? Incredibly fun, if non-stop chaotic, and makes me shed a tear at what we as a people have missed by having the battle cars genre shrivel up around the turn of the millennium. Number 57, Madden NFL 2002. And number 56, oh yeah, we're doing another one already. Mischief Makers. From Chandler Dean, the then groundbreaking hardware of the Nintendo 64 inspired different developers in different ways. In many cases, they created games that answered the question, what if we took one of our existing properties and made a 3D version of it that's charmingly wonky at best and completely unplayable at worst? That's why it was so refreshing to break out Mischief Makers, which delivers a smooth, vibrant 2.5D platforming / action / puzzle experience with inventive gameplay mechanics and mercifully limited lore. The whole thing just works. Even when I wasn't sure how I would advance to the next stage, I had a blast jumping and dashing and grabbing and shaking my way around planet Clancer. I didn't play it. Clancer? Am I basically praising this game just for not being broken and attempting to do something new? Yes. That alone makes it significantly better than most of the N64's library. Mischief Makers is like one of its optional collectibles that I never tried to get, but I'm sure there's a fun solution I could figure out eventually. A hidden gem. And then here, below the entry on my version of the list I was given, I don't think this is part of the script or part of the article, but there's a bit that says, I'm just going to read it. Honestly, I wasn't planning on it, but now that you've brought it up, I would love to shake you using the down button on the D-pad to see what items fall out. And then there's a line below that literally, and I shit you not, I'll screenshot it and everything. It just says, well, joke's on you, JD. My cock ring doubles up as an ear piercing. I don't know where this came from or why it's here, but I thought maybe it's funny, maybe there's a joke that I've missed the boat on. So, someone's cock ring doubles up as an ear piercing. Number 55, NBA Hang Time. Number 54, F-Zero X. Number 53, NHL 99. And number 52, I'm spoiling you right now, I truly am. It's Mark Roebuck's entry on Snowboard Kids 2. More 1080 meets Mario Kart with a lot of the same pros and cons as the first Snowboard Kids. The soundtrack still fucking rips, and catching the ski lift at the bottom of each lap still fucking sucks. Sure, it's a part of the skiing experience, you gotta get back up to the top of the hill somehow, but frantically trying to interpret which side of the landing the ski lift is on while you approach the bottom of the mountain is like if Gran Turismo put a strange emphasis on having to figure out which side of the car the gas tank is on as you were arriving at a Shell station. I just don't need that part of the experience, realistic or not. And so what if it's realistic? Wendy just shrunk us with some kind of ray gun and now we're snowboarding on a fucking piano. Why am I still catching a ski lift to get back up the stairs? Oh yeah, there's a story mode now. It's goofy and not particularly coherent, but it's a lot of fun. A little addendum that Mark has added here. I'm too old to say slaps, okay? I said it once at a Chipotle and all the employees laughed at me. Next time, I'll just say, thanks, this looks like a good burrito, and leave it at that. Number 51, Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. And here we are, in the top 50. Number 50, NFL Blitz 2000. Number 49, Mega Man 64. Number 48, Destruction Derby 64. Number 47, Shadow Man. Guess I just really feel like giving myself more work right now. Here's another entry from Chandler Dean. This game is so badass. It's Tomb Raider meets Ocarina of Time meets Metroid meets Blade. You are Michael Leroy / Shadow Man, tasked with stopping the apocalypse despite being too old for this shit. You travel back and forth between the world of the living, live side, and the world of the dead. I'll let you guess what this world is called. Let me remind you again that the world of the living is called live side. You advance by recovering Dark Souls, and to boost engagement on this list, I'll go ahead and say that that this is the best game ever made that requires you to do something like that. Shadow Man boasts an intricate story, excellent voice acting, non-linear gameplay, a chilling atmosphere, and combat that isn't great, but it doesn't matter because your shadow gun has unlimited death juice ammo. Now, does a huge chunk of the game's playtime come from the fact that it's usually unclear at any given moment what the hell you're supposed to be doing and where the hell you're supposed to be going? Perhaps, but no game, no matter how opaque, is any match for the old just keep walking right until you've circled the full perimeter of the map strategy. This is also one of very few N64 games, maybe the only one, to feature a black protagonist, and with the remastered version of the game enjoying a second life on the Nintendo Switch, the time has come for me to begin the campaign for Michael Leroy to become the first black playable character in Super Smash Bros. Down B to transform into Shadow Man, B to fire sick-ass skull gun. No other moves necessary. In closing, Chandler calls this the rare game that combines Metroid-level lore with Family Guy-level cutaway setups. Number 46, Ridge Racer 64. Number 45, Rocket Robot on Wheels. Number 44, Mario Kart 64. Number 43, Bomberman 64, The Second Attack. Number 42, F1 World Grand Prix. Number 41, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. Number 40, Beetle Adventure Racing. Number 39, Hey You Pikachu. Number 38, Micro Machines 64 Turbo. Number 37, Space Station Silicon Valley. Number 36, Mortal Kombat 4. Number 35, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Number 34, NFL Blitz 2001. And number 33, it's my time to shine, baby, Pokemon Snap. When I wrote this entry, I didn't make it very fun, so I'm going to go ahead and change that on the fly. Consider this a nice little video exclusive Easter egg. Pokemon Snap is technically one of the best first-person shooters on the N64. Think about it, you're in first person, you're shooting pictures. This is a picturesque little hill I'm willing to die on, okay? And after the mixed-in quality, but still fairly logical for the franchise spin-offs like Pokemon Stadium and Hey You Pikachu, Pokemon Snap is a very unexpected but welcome change of pace. Who would have expected a Pokemon photography simulator to ever see the light of day? More so, who would have expected it to be good? Pokemon Snap is a charming and novel game that lets you see Pokemon as you've rarely seen them before, as animals. Real, living, breathing organisms that behave like a lot of the creatures you could expect to see on a safari in real life. Perhaps the idea of taking pictures as a gameplay loop doesn't sound particularly exhilarating, but consider all the memorable moments fueled by the IP that Pokemon Snap affords you. You can trigger the explosion of an Electrode to unlock a new area. You can force a Slowpoke to evolve by baiting it into dipping its tail into shelter-infested waters. You can bully the ever-loving shit out of Charmander for always being everyone's favourite and taking all the spotlight away from the other starters. Get wrecked, red idiot. In short, Pokemon Snap is a refreshing breath of fresh air for a series that often loved and still loves to play it safe, and represents a brief upheaval, the radicalness of which I'd put somewhere between doing an ollie and tackling a Republican politician into the pit of an active volcano. Also, I'd just like to say it's deeply sad that no one played New Pokemon Snap, because that game is genuinely fucking amazing and a near perfect sequel. Thank you. Number 32, NBA Showtime NBA on NBC. Number 31, Pokemon Stadium 2. Number 30, Bomberman Hero. Number 29, Pokemon Puzzle League. Number 28, Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards. Number 27, Blast Core. Number 26, Mario Party 2. Number 25, Bassmasters. I assume that's Bassmasters, not Bassmasters. It wouldn't be Bassmasters, would it? I'm gonna go with Bassmasters 2000, because it's about fish. Credit to Mark Roebuck again for this one. Wow, this game knocked my fucking socks off. It's so fun, and it's definitely something I'm going to play to chill out at night after I'm done playing all of these Nintendo 64 games. The exact type of diamond in the rough I was hoping to discover when we started this project. The music cues are perfectly timed blasts of twangy country music when the shit gets real and you get a nibble. The announcers are my favourite in a Nintendo 64 game. They just sound like guys I want to drink a beer with. The fishing ain't bad either. When you think about it, is it so bizarre that a retro Nintendo fishing game would be a hidden gem? Check this one out. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I'm thinking maybe I should try, in the interest of good video game journalism, to say something bad about Bassmasters 2000, Bassmasters. Okay, commentator Shaw Brisby doesn't ride around in the boat with you and talk to you the whole time. There's my complaint. But that might be too much of a good thing, so I don't really know. How high am I allowed to rank this one? Number 24, The New Tetris. Number 23, 1080 Snowboarding. Number 22, Resident Evil 2. Number 21, FIFA Road to World Cup 98. Number 20, Mario Party 3. Number 19, Doom 64. Number 18, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. Number 17, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Number 16, Wave Race 64. Number 15, Ogre Battle 64, Person of Lordly Caliber. Resident Ogre Battle 64 Person of Lordly Caliber expert Ryan Fleischman says, Ogre Battle 64 is the best RPG on the Nintendo 64. It's also one of the worst RPGs on the Nintendo 64. That's because it's basically the only true RPG on the Nintendo 64, unless you want to go Jazz Age on me about how Pokemon Stadium is technically an RPG or whatever. But seriously, this game is amazing. Ogre Battle 64 was built to ripen with age, as older gamers come back and appreciate the dark subject matter and realistic approach to the horror of war. This game can be like Spec Ops: The Line for RPGs, except you actually can choose to be a war criminal or not. The visuals are great as well, although character art can be a weird hybrid between Western and Japanese art styles. I don't know why our main character has ill-fitting blue hair, but I do know that his character portrait stares directly at the screen and it freaks me out. The strategy gameplay is excellent and unique, and I ideally hope more games steal the battalion system where your units move and fight together in customized groups. The game suffers from being a mature, nuanced RPG with tons of writing on a console more known for funny jump guys who collect magic ding-dongs. It's like serving an amazing sushi roll in an Italian restaurant. Sure, the sushi could be delicious, but everybody came here for pasta, fagioli? I don't want to mess around with that word. I don't know what that is, but I'll show it on screen. I insist that Ogre Battle 64 would be remembered along with the greats like Final Fantasy Tactics if it came out on an appropriate system with proper marketing. Number 14, Mario Golf. Number 13, Super Smash Bros. Number 12, Star Wars Rogue Squadron. And number 11, Star Fox 64. I really wanted to break my little top 10 rule and read this entry out too. It's written by Kevin Podas, and I think it's a really fun entry, but I can't be giving myself that much work. So hey, let this serve as another little advertisement for the actual article itself. Go give it a read after you're done with this. And now we're finally here. I can hardly believe it myself. What the hard drive writers collectively agreed are the top 10 Nintendo 64 games of all time. I'll be reading out every single entry now until the end, and I just want to reiterate, I did not make this list. I literally only wrote Pokemon Snap. I did not grow up with an N64. I don't have the nostalgia for a lot of these games, even though I've played a few of them. But as an outsider looking in, I largely think they did a great job. I'm also not really in any place to judge. But at the risk of sounding like a bad BuzzFeed article, I would definitely swap number 7 and 4 on this list. 7 and 4 being where they are. Oh, that's a tough pill to swallow. Well, let's get on with it and start with number 10, written by Joe Tillelli, Mario Tennis. Following the hit that was Mario Golf, Nintendo went ahead and converted the next whitest pastime they could into video game form, and again, they knocked it out of the park. Aced it. Moving around the court feels great. There are enough options with each hit to mix things up and pull a fast one on your opponent, but it's not overwhelming with high-level strategy that makes it impenetrable for a newcomer, which kind of boils down to Nintendo's philosophy. What we have ourselves here is a gimmick-like tennis simulator featuring Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, and the whole gang, but that's not everyone who's here. Mario's bastardized counterpart Wario needed a doubles partner, and with no one in the existing canon around that could fit the bill, a new anti-hero was moulded from the clay of the courts. Waluigi exists because of Mario Tennis, and quote, "That's just grand." Tapping into a bit of Irishness there, Joe. The game remains more fun to go back to than playing any of the subsequent Mario Tennis games to come after, and it birthed us a new lord and saviour. It easily makes the top 10 just for that. Number 9 comes to us from writer Ashley O. It's Paper Mario. Paper Mario, as innocuous as it may seem, is bizarrely clever in two ways. You are so caught up in how it executes a unique sense of cuteness that you don't see it robbing you blind. The initial charm is that Mario is a 2D paper cutout, which is insane because by this point he's been 2D for the majority of his career. Somehow, Nintendo managed to sell the same game back to us on fake pieces of paper, and we ate it up like the greedy little piggies we are. We got a taste of 3D in Super Mario 64, and within weeks we were already already nostalgic for the 2D times. Aside from Paper Mario being the perfect metaphor for how gamers perpetuate their own insufferable tendencies, the game is pretty damn cute. It kickstarted a lovely trend of Nintendo using crafty textures to enrich its games. In some ways, Yoshi's Woolly World and Kirby's Epic Yarn owe their existence to the success of Paper Mario. And that's okay, because those games fucking rule, and we need more quality textures that we can feel with our eyeballs and ears. I have never been so excited to hear the sound of paper folding, crumpling, or whizzing through the air as much as when I played this game. A 10 out of 10 delightful experience through and through. Number 8. Diddy Kong Racing. Gabe Porter writes, Diddy Kong Racing is a dream come true. When I would play Mario Kart 64, I always wondered about the areas just out of reach. I wanted to explore. Diddy Kong Racing gave me just what I wanted. With the innovative adventure mode, you are given a whole wide for N64, world to race around in. Find challenges, unlock characters, ram into the elephant guy. Friends were now optional when playing a racing game. Not only that, but you can even pilot a dope plane or ride across the ocean in a hovercraft, something that put this game miles ahead of any other racer at the time. This would all be for nothing, however, if the controls weren't great. Luckily, they are tight and always responsive. You are always in control. I often lay awake at night wishing that I would be Mandela affected into a world where Diddy Kong Racing was Nintendo's flagship kart racer. It sure is the best one. Number 7. Banjo-Kazooie. Covered here by James Knapp, Banjo-Kazooie is what you get when a development team takes its no bad ideas policy a little too far. Thinking about how the whiteboard in that writer's room must have looked, I am immediately reminded of that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme where Charlie Day is frantically trying to explain how the backpack bear, with the help of the foul-mouthed woodpecker, has to find the kidnapping machinist witch before she disintegrates his sister, and that's why we have to solve all these fucking jigsaw puzzles. Alright, so I know that's kind of hyperbolic and there are a bunch of other games, movies, books, prog rock albums, Subway advertisements that you could make that same argument for. So what I will say for BK is that for all the contrasting elements in story, gameplay and design, it all still works well together. Like, really well. Like, we don't deserve how good this weird game is. But then again, none of us ever deserved the N64 in the first place. Number 6. Perfect Dark. Ryan Fleischman regrettably writes, Perfect Dark? More like perfect game. And for that line alone, he should be thankful that I'm featuring him in the video whatsoever. Besides the 5 other games above it, but you get the idea, he writes. Perfect Dark is what happens when Rare, at the top of their game, spends 3 years honing the already great GoldenEye 007 in every aspect, while replacing the movie tie-in with a sci-fi setting and badass female main character. Just like 007, you spend levels completing spy objectives with a ton of guns and high-tech gadgets, except this time there's funny grey aliens waddling around. Rare didn't go the extra mile with Perfect Dark, they went the extra light year. Game artist Brett Jones said people would just do the things they thought were cool and would work, and you can feel it in the astronomical amount of in-game content. A revamped game engine, stellar graphics, industry-leading enemy AI, co-op mode, extremely diverse multiplayer options. Hell, Perfect Dark implemented the counter-operative system where another player can be the baddies fighting you during a story level 2 decades before Deathloop made that its whole gimmick. That's a great way to look at Perfect Dark. The game casually includes features that other titles devoted their budget to. The developers literally had to use the expansion pack system to cram this prodigious game onto our systems. The one drawback of the game was its frame rate, but guess what? It's 2023, baby, or whatever year you're watching this in. Rev up those GeForce 4090s, because it's time to game in buttery 60 FPS. Number 5. WWF No Mercy. William Quants his way back onto the list yet again with this little ditty. If nostalgia comes bearing rose-tinted glasses, this game makes me wish I had more eyes so I could wear more glasses. No, pro wrestling may never be nearly as popular as it was when this game originally came out, but you know what else hasn't been matched since it came out? Any wrestling game since. There's a reason No Mercy has been hailed as the greatest of all time, and it might have at least a little something to do with being able to beat the shit out of people with giant wedges of cheese, as well as an absolutely stacked roster, replayable campaigns with branching storylines, a character creation suite a decade ahead of its time, and the ability to powerbomb people onto car engine-sized copies of The Rock's autobiography. I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't sing praises to the thing that got me into professional wrestling in the first place. Not just in the wrestling genre either, I'd put No Mercy up there with the best on the system, and unlike Vince McMahon himself, it still holds up to this day. Oh, so true, bestie. Get his ass. What a freak. Number 4. Hold it in, Brad. Stay strong. Donkey Kong 64. I will say, despite my opinions, I genuinely fucking love this entry. Credit to Chandler Dean for this one. This shit's great. The caption on this one reads, "An expansion pack is required to process all the cope that DK64 haters will experience after reading this." He says, "Fuck you. This game is perfect. Donkey Kong 64 is maximalist game design at its finest." Oh, you like collecting stars or jiggies or some shit? Great, here's 201 of them, but this time they're golden bananas that'll have motherfuckers out here saying, "Ooh, banana." Your friends speculated about how cool it would be if Luigi was playable in Super Mario 64. Well, not only can you play as Donkey or Diddy Kong, you can also play as one of 3 made-up Kongs whose superpowers are being big, being small, and being a fucked up weirdo respectively. Every other review I've read of Donkey Kong 64 has some boring caveat like, "To be sure, the game's collecting mechanic is bloated and the backtracking can be tedious." Oh, boo-hoo. So it's annoying to get 101% completion on this game? Guess what? It should be. Who told you had to do that? You call it backtracking, I call it replay value. It's the only thing the haters can say, that this game has too much stuff. Meanwhile, I can't tell you how many N64 games I've had to play with the depth of one of those shitty mobile game ads that's just a front for Russian malware. Sorry you can't beat Donkey Kong 64 in 30 minutes. Sorry it holds the Guinness World Record for most collectible items in a platform game. Sorry you don't like opening a door as lanky so you can activate a floor switch as chunky so you can play a minigame as tiny. Gamers will dismiss Donkey Kong 64 and then cream their pants when they find out Tears of the Kingdom has like 1,872 Korok seeds or whatever. Just admit it, this game was ahead of its time. The DK rap slaps, and the only reason that public interest in platformers collapsed after this game was because it perfected the form. Also, my enthusiasm has nothing to do with the fact that this was the first console game I ever played when I was 6. Fine. Honestly, you know what? Honestly, I'll let him have that one. Let's move on. Number 3. The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. This comes to us from Seth Finkelstein, a masterpiece. It's almost hard to decide what to say here. The way this game slowly opens up its world to you, lets you poke around and find your own way, but always makes it clear what your next objective is. It's a masterclass in game design. The Z-targeting system is an elegant solution to combat in a 3D space that's become so commonplace we take it for granted. Sure, anything involving moving through water is awful, and there's some stealth sections that are annoying, and we all know about the owl. But those are drops in the bucket compared to the ocean that is this game. The confidence in its storytelling is stronger than in most modern AAA titles. This is a game that makes a promise to you that one day you'll grow up to be a cool horse-riding badass, and then never lets you forget that the reason you grew up so fast is because you screwed up monumentally and let the villain win. This is a must-play. Number 2. Moment of truth here for people keeping track and people who are familiar with the N64 library, process of elimination and all that. Number 2 is Super Mario 64. Joe Tillelli is back at it again. He says, "The Nintendo 64 marked the transition for many a platformer to make the jump from 2D to 3D, and everyone's favourite plumber decided to vault his way onto the console with a double front flip and stick the landing." Seriously, it's amazing how Nintendo nailed it in one try. Not only did Super Mario 64 define how all cameras would be handled in a 3D space for generations to come, it also equipped Mario with a moveset that would remain pretty much untouched for nearly 30 years. It's amazing just how fluid and deep this little jumping boy's kit of controls go. He has his jump, his double jump, triple jump, side jump, long jump, backflip, ground pound, you get the idea. These remained staples of how Mario moves in future titles across console generations all the way up to Super Mario Odyssey. It's got a soundtrack that slaps and memorable levels, unfortunately not always for good reasons. It's taken on a second life in speedrunning, which has provided the community with endless hours of challenge and entertainment. However, as a casual player, the bullshit that is TikTok Clock and Rainbow Ride keeps us from granting this the number 1 slot. And finally, dear viewer, we're here at the end of our journey. Here it is. The game that the hard drive writers collectively agreed is the best N64 game of all time. Number 1, it's GoldenEye 007. Our final entry comes to us by way of Walker McDonald. Walker, take it away. Or me, take it away. Goodbye, reading out what he said. Fudj, me, take it away. GoldenEye 007 is an inarguably era-defining game that not only established the gold standard of the day for the burgeoning FPS genre, but also opened the floodgates for nearly a decade of Z-grade shooters adapted from blockbuster IPs, all made in a limp, flagrant attempt to replicate its success. It effectively became a license to kill the already emaciated medium of movie video games, if you will. And I certainly will, Walker. Very smooth. He says, listen, if you were in my shoes, you'd try and work that in here too. Bite me. And he's so right, I so would. I won't bite you though, Walker. That would be weird. Mission Impossible, The Fifth Element, and most egregiously, Aliens Online were the first offerings to crop up in the 1998 wake of GoldenEye mania. While all of these titles, and countless others to come, failed to emulate their forefather in many aspects, the biggest and most insurmountable one of all was simple. They failed to eclipse their source material. In 2023, or whatever year you're watching this video in, because I don't want to date it too badly, it's impossible to talk about the actual contents of GoldenEye 007 in any revelatory or insightful way. That well's likely been dry for longer than I've been able to grasp a controller, but the most enduring testament to its legacy is how it's grown to overshadow the movie it's based on. If you leave this article/video, go to Google and search GoldenEye right now, nearly 30 years on, articles about the game will come up before the film. You know what happens if you Google The Fifth Element in the hopes you'll see anything about the PlayStation title? Fucking nothing. Nothing but movie. And there we are. That's every N64 game ever released, ranked from worst to best. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. I hope you've enjoyed my video interpretation of this titanic undertaking as much as I enjoyed reading the list when it was sent to me, and as much as I've enjoyed making it, and certainly as much as the thought of taking on such a piece of work made me want to shit my pants and cry. I think the hard drive crew did a pretty great job with it, despite the fact that I did not grow up with the N64, did not play GoldenEye, and think Banjo-Kazooie would literally fold Donkey Kong 64 up into a pretzel if they fought in real life. But what do you think? What do you agree or disagree with? Not just on the list, in general. Has Kendrick fallen off? What's the fastest route to a greener future? When will hard drive editor-in-chief Jeremy Kaplowitz and hard drive head writer Mark Roebuck just kiss already? We'd love to hear from you on any of these things, because we love engagement. Digital media. We need money. But no, it's probably better to stay on topic, I guess. A reminder that you can read the full list in its entirety, i.e. the additional 250 or so entries that I did not read out on Hard Drive's official site at hard-drive.net. There's some absolute gems in there. There will be a link on screen and in the description, so please go check it out if you're interested, and please consider giving us a like, and maybe subscribing and clicking the bell and doing all the other lame shit that we hate having to ask for. Digital media. We need money. From the entire Hard Drive team and myself, your host Fudj, we hope you love the absolute tits off this list. And we're super excited to get on to doing some more inane shit in the months and maybe years to come. Stay tuned, get stoked. I just got a new pack of crackers, so I know I am. I'm gonna go and give myself a well-earned break and take care of these babies away from the microphone, and I'll see you next time.